Welcome back. Well, are you on your cell phone while driving? In some states, it's illegal unless you're completely hands-free. But what kind of message does it send to your kids? Do you ever wonder when your kids start noticing your bad habits, or in this case, your distracted driving?
Think about it all the time, as a matter of fact. Ann Scallon has a surprising answer. She's the founder of the online magazine Before the Wheel that provides teen driver coaching strategies.
Yeah.
It's always great when she's here, but it's always like, it really gets me thinking. Great to see you.
Nice to see both of you.
All right, so let's answer this question, because we asked you at what point, at what age will my child start noticing what I'm doing when I'm driving? And the answer is?
The answer is the day you store away that rear-facing car seat and put them in the front-facing car seat.
That is so scary.
So it's immediate.
That's like what? I want to say like
About
2
a year and a
years
half
old.
to 2
A year and a
years
half
old.
to 2 years old.
And what kind of impact does it have? I mean, you know, when they're that young, it's not like they're thinking about driving.
They're not really thinking about driving, but they are noticing your behaviors. And I get approached by a lot of different people, and they honestly think, well, you know, my child's like 12. In a few years, do I have to start changing my behaviors? And I'm looking at them like, are you kidding me? You know, you need to change right now. You need to show your child. So your role modeling, they imitate. I mean, we've all had, you know, young children, or nieces and nephews, and they will imitate what you do right away.
Well, I was reaching for my sunglasses in my purse once, and one of my kids was like, Mom, stop doing that. We learned in school today, if your parents are driving distracted, you should tell them that. I was like, oh, okay, you know, and that was in grade school that they learned that. And it was like they were told, like, feel like it's okay to tell your parents when you notice them being distracted when you're driving.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I was going to mention, which maybe one of our next questions is that when you're looking at that teen and how prepared they are, one of the things you want to ask them, please call me out. Because we all get distracted. I mean, we're human beings, and we, you know, I work at it all the time, but then today I find myself on the way here reaching for some gum, and I'm like, well, why am I doing this? This is very distracting. And I thought I knew exactly where it was, but I guess I didn't. So we have to stop ourselves, and it's okay for our children to point that out.
So it doesn't have to involve a cell phone or eating or something like that. It can truly be any sort of distraction within the car. How about conversations? What kinds of things? Because I know people, you know, have this little debate. Well, if you're talking on the phone, isn't it the same as talking to a passenger? How about conversations? Or I see a lot of parents when there's kids in the back having to turn around to adjust things while they're driving. I feel like if you're the only parent in the car driving with children, it's got to be a natural reaction. How do you model better behavior when there's kids in the car and you may need to interact with them?
Really, with the children, you need to get them situated enough that they are in their car seat or their booster seat, and then the kids that are out of that should be able to listen to you, because you should not be turning around. That's very dangerous. But you have to talk to them. You know, driving is a very serious thing. We're going to something really fun. We're going to the zoo today. It's summertime or whatever. But you have to say the trip is the means to getting there. If you're talking to somebody who's also in the front seat with you, you do have that advantage. That person will be watching the traffic.
Extra set of eyes.
Extra set of eyes. And hopefully that person will speak up if you're doing something wrong or, you know, not concentrating.
My oldest daughter's just doing the training portion of driving behind the wheel, doesn't have her license yet. And it took us a long time, or a little bit longer, because it was a tight parking spot. And people were honking and very impatient. And one of the things I said to her is, you know, very often as a driver on the road, I think about people who are drunk driving, maybe, people who are tired when they're driving, older people who maybe shouldn't still have a license who are driving. But we often forget about those who are learning to drive, who are on the roads. And sometimes I think it's important for all of us to be a little bit more patient, even if it's not somebody who's just learning to drive. One of the things that really scares me is that now in many places the speed limit is 70 miles per hour.
Right.
How do you talk to teens, or what do you do when you're teaching them to drive and they have their license, to deal with high speeds, higher speeds, and situations that can be dangerous that develop very quickly?
Well, it's good to keep that open communication with teens, because most of them, if you're being open, are uncomfortable with the highway. So you want to get them in a situation where they feel they can express that. Do you want to practice merging today?
I remember merging being the worst when you were learning.
Definitely.
Exactly.
It was so scary.
Yeah.
And now they have to speed up more because, you know, that slower lane may be even going 70. So I say just talk to your teen, practice, practice, practice with your teen. And tell them they need to stay in that right lane. Even though in the right lane you have to continue to manage the incoming cars, you're not managing everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, stay in the right lane.
Right. So, I mean, they have to be a really good driver to start getting in that middle or faster lane. And you just say, you know what, for the first 6 months, we're staying in this right lane. Because it's a lot less to manage. You can keep a slower speed. No one's going to be going crazy, that type of thing.
That's
a really
great
great
tip.
point.
Really good tip. I like that. People can read your newsletter online. It has fantastic information. I call it your coaching playbook for parents to guide your teen drivers as soon as they're ready or will be ready, because advanced planning really pays off. So check out this website and find out more by going to beforethewheel.com. Always great to see you, Ann.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.